You want to remove the 10mm bolt that's holding the alternator cover. And also remove the air intake guide. You want to loosen the 12mm bolt that's holding the alternator, but don't take it out. And then you want to loosen the other 12mm bolt. And also don't remove this one. And then you'll loosen it from the top, which is another 12mm. And you want to take the belt off. And now you can take the belt off and just put that to the side for now. And now you want to remove the 12mm bolt all the way. And the alternator should drop all the way down. We'll be removing this solenoid. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's an evap. Just to make room to get another bolt that's in the back of the bracket of the power steering pump. This is a 10mm bolt. You also want to remove this 12mm bolt down here using an extension. Once you get that out, you'll have enough room to get the bolt in the back. As you can see here, it's really tight, but you can get an extension and a 12mm bolt, break it loose. And now you want to get the two bolts in the front. As you can see, there's one right there and one right there. Just keep in mind that the bolt on the right is longer. And this bolt is under the pulley is a shorter bolt. Now you want to remove the clamp to the hose. You can break it loose by twisting on it. Just make sure you have a rag to put under so the power steering fluid doesn't drip everywhere. You want to disconnect this harness that's on a power steering pump. And now you want to remove this 14 millimeter hardline bolt. It's a banjo bolt. Make sure you put a rag under before removing it all the way so you can collect the fluid on the rag. There's also a washer that's connected to this hard line. Just make sure not to drop it and replace it with a new one. Once that's all disconnected, you should easily be able to pull the power steering pump out through the front. This is the bolt that was connected to the back of the bracket. I accidentally dropped it, but as you can see, it's just sitting there. Here we have a brand new OEM Subaru STI power steering pump. Here's a side-by-side comparison, the new and old pump. You have to swap a few things over, like the bracket. And there's a little connector piece in the back right there that you want to swap over to the sensor. You want to use a needle nose plier to clip the back of this harness, and it should be removed easily. And just pull this out. Now you want to remove the 14 millimeter bolt in the back. Also, these two bolts in the front, which is a Torx. So here's a Torx T40. And you just easily take them out through the hole in the pulley. There's also a bracket behind these two bolts. You'll see. Okay, that's the bracket I'm talking about. You want to swap that over to the new pump also. And remove the 14mm bolt in the back. And now I have two pry bar and one to lift it up. And the pump should come right out. You also want to remove this bracket and swap that over to the new pump. It's a 10mm bolt. I decided to wire wheel the bracket since it's already out and it was pretty corroded. Use the rubber mallet to lightly tap the new pump in. You want to tap it just enough to line the bolts up. So for the 14mm bolt in the back, just get a few threads in, but don't tighten it all the way yet. You want to put the bracket and the two Torx bolt in the front first. And then you can tighten everything up afterwards. I use some blue Loctite in these bolts. Okay, now I got the new power steering pump back on the bracket. Everything is nice and clean. Now you can just double check everything and reinstall it back onto the car. Once you have the pump reinstalled, you want to top off the reservoir with new fluid and then lock the lock about 20 to 30 times so the fluid can make its way into the new pump. I also have the two front up on jack stand, so it's easier to lock the lock. Double check the fluid in the reservoir and top it off if needed. Now just go for a test drive and enjoy your new pump.